In earlier parts of the video, we talked about taking the video from an Insta360 X5 camera and editing it with the Insta360 desktop app, Insta360 Studio, to produce files that can be uploaded to YouTube and social media. Then we also looked at the Adobe Premiere, how we edit the video with Adobe Premiere to export it as a 360-degree video for YouTube, and also to export it as a vertical format 9:16 video for social media. Then we talked about the problem of converting a 360-degree video into vertical format. So the problem is this: we have a video that's in 360-degree format, but we need to export it to a very narrow strip of video that will be displayed on social media. So our strategy, we said, is that we're going to take bits of the center, right and left, and we are going to transition between them. So as we start with the center, let's say for 2 seconds, we're going to hold it for 2 seconds. Then we're going to take 3 seconds to transition to the right angle. Another 3 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds. Then take another 3 seconds to move it to the center angle. Then 3 seconds to transition to the left angle. Hold it for 2 seconds. Transition to the center in 3 seconds and repeat. And as we move from center to right, to center, to left, and back to center, we can do a transition. So we can transition between two video clips, a 2-second transition, and we try to keep the two video clips in the same motion, the same kind of motion from left to center or center to right. By keeping the same motion and we do a smooth transition between them, we will be able to achieve a match cut that will look very seamless and it look very smooth, non-jarring. And that's how we'll make our video clips fit within those 30 seconds of Instagram footage. Today we'll talk about how we implement this in Adobe Premiere, how we use the Insta360 Reframe plugin to do this transition between the various angles, and also how we apply a cross-dissolve transition in Adobe Premiere to do this smooth match cut between the various angles. Heading back to Premiere, this is our project that we created earlier on. We call it Reel. Next, zoom in on the first clip and apply the effects. The first clip is here. So the first clip is about train. Well, let's look for an interesting clip. The first clip is not quite so interesting. The second clip is more interesting because that's where the train comes in. Right? This is a train to Sentosa for our Singapore frontrunners run. Okay, first clip is not interesting. We'll just delete it. Report delete, and good, it's gone. The second clip is about inside the train. So it shows how the train moves from VivoCity into Sentosa. And this is an interesting clip. Now, we want to do a transition between these two clips. The first clip is about the train coming in, and we have the passengers loading into the train here. The second clip is taken from inside the train, and it shows the train moving from VivoCity to Sentosa. Let's do a match cut between these two clips, meaning that we will preserve the same kind of motion for both clips. The way we do that is that let's start at the right. Notice that we have people on the right here who are boarding the train. Right. Oops. Let me just reset that. We have people on the right here who are boarding the train. So let's start with the right, which is here. We want to pan to the center to show the train. which is this. And if we follow this sequence, we will pan to the left like this, which means that we will now pan to somewhere around here, right? And this is where we will do our match cut. Our match cut will go into the second clip, which is here. We will start from the center. We will pan from center to left. So center to to left. The reason we do that is that we want to do a match cut, so therefore the two clips must have the same transition. The earlier clip has a transition from center to left. Therefore, the second clip will now also have a transition from center to left. When we apply a cross dissolve between two clips, it will look very smooth and seamless. And that's how we're doing that. Now, let's start with the first clip. We talk about showing the crowd at the right, panning to the center of the train, and then panning to the left, which will prepare us for a transition to a clip from inside the train, which will begin from center to left, then center right. Let's do this. Right, center, left. Remember, we are now doing right, center, left for the first clip. Let's click on the first clip, and these are the effect controls of the first clip. First, before we pan right, let's pick a center point of reference. So the center point is the interesting part of the video. So let's okay, probably the train will be most interesting. So this could be the center part of the video. We will pan towards this center. Right. Now, let's just zoom up and make more space for us. And we will reduce the scale. Okay, remember we're doing a right, then to the left, to the center, then to the left. Okay, let's do it here. Right. To do that, we'll use the effect controls here. We will change the pan. So we will change from the pan from right to center to left. To begin, let's just set a keyframe. We change the keyframe to a Bezier. Bezier keyframe makes the transition smoother, so that we can see the panning moving much smoother between the various views. We said that we're going to hold for 2 seconds at the right. Let's just wait for 2 seconds. So right now our timer is 7:10. 2 seconds will be at 9:10, around here. Right, we hold it there so that we won't disorientate the viewer. Notice that the new point will also be a Bezier. So if we set the first point as a Bezier, the second point will always be a Bezier, right? Otherwise, we need to select a whole bunch of point keyframes and turn them into Bezier mode. Now we need to skip 3 seconds. Remember, our goal is that we want to pause for 2 seconds at right, then transition from right to left, right to center in 3 seconds. So 3 seconds from 9:07 will be 12:07. Let's move it to 12:07 and put a keyframe here. Wait, 12:07. We'll hold it for 2 seconds. So it's 14:07 here. 14:07. We will now transition from center to left in 3 seconds. So that's 17:07. well, around here, and we will hold for 2 seconds. Around here. That's not 2 seconds. Okay, 1707 to 1907. 1907. Around here. Right, let's head back here. At this point corresponds to the right. So let's shift our pen setting to the right. We want to focus on the crowd here. Yeah, that's the right. So this will start at -108. We want to hold this right view at 108. So let's just click -108. Right. Now we can see the transition. From right, it will go slowly to center. Right. That's the effect we want. From right to center, and it will take 3 seconds. Then let's move on to the next part. From center, we will hold 2 seconds. Yep, it's holding. Then we will move from center to left in 3 seconds. So let's set our left point. Our left point will be the train, maybe 42. Let's preserve it here, 42. Right, and that's our motion. So we start at the right. We will pan slowly to the center, and we will then pan from center to right. Okay, now notice the timing is a bit off. The train comes a bit too late. Let's do a shift. What we do is that we just copy this whole keyframes and we just shift it to the right, like this, maybe towards end. Okay, let's take a look. So we pan the right, then hold, move 3 seconds, pan to the left, and that's perfect. We see a train coming in. Then pan to the rest of the train, and that's really good. And hold. Right. So this looks good. So the front stuff that's from here, we can chop it off. So I'll just simply drag, trim off the stuff at the left. So what we have now is that we have right, hold, pan, center, hold, pan, left, hold. And this is a perfect place for us to do a match cut to the next sequence. We could fine-tune this. So for example, I'm not quite happy with the small crowd. Let me see. So we could do a zoom in to make it nicer, to make it more obvious that these are people in the crowd, in the queue. To do that, we'll use a scale and position keyframes. Okay, so notice that we set the keyframes here to. Okay, so this is how we move between keyframes. The first keyframe will do a position and scale. Let's change this to Bezier mode. Same thing. Position. Oops. Okay. Too close. I can't squeeze this. Position and scale. At the next keyframe, this is the whole after the padding. Same thing. And then we pan, then we hold. Right, after setting up our keyframes, we can now animate them. Now, the first keyframe, we're going to zoom into the people closer so they can see who they are. Let's do a scale. Let's increase the scale. Okay, that looks right. Let's move the position down a bit so you don't see too much sky. Okay, good. So 1032, we're going to preserve this so that we don't, remember that these two frames are supposed to hold it, so not to change anything. So 1032, let's fix this. 1032. And scale is 176. So make sure we don't exceed the scale, let's say to 200 or more, because it will get grainy after that. Our resolution is 8K. It's not a lot, but don't stretch it. So don't put it into 200% scale. It will not look good. So this is 176. Let's just preserve this at 176. Right. So now it becomes more interesting. We see the queue. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then we slowly pan to the train. And notice that as we do that, the position and scale changes as we see less of the crowd and more of the train. Hold for 2 seconds, and then we see the rest of the train. Yep, there. And that's how we do the transition for the first clip. Notice that we move from right for 2 seconds, then move it to left in 3 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds, then we move it to the left in 3 seconds, and we hold it there. For the first clip, we have just done a right, center, left panning. Now let's do the second clip. For a second clip, we will start at the center, turn to left, center, then right. We start at the center because we will do a transition here between the center and the left. As the first clip pans from center to left, the second clip will also pan from center to left. And this is the opportunity here to do a match cut between the two, so that the two of them will align. Let's do it now. Remember, we're doing a left to center. We do a center. For second clip, we do center to left, then center to right. Here is our second clip. Here. The second clip is of some scenery captured from inside the train from Sentosa. Again, we apply the same steps. We look for the interesting parts of the video. And the interesting part will be the center part. Let's go and do the... Okay, so this could be the center could be here, right? So this will be our center point. Remember that we're now going to pan from center to left, center to right. Okay, let's mark our left point. Again, change this to a Bezier curve so that there's a smooth panning between the points. We add a keyframe here, and we're going to look for, we're going to hold this for 2 seconds. So 4028, let's just move it to 42. Sorry, I missed that. That was 4028. We will now move it to 4228. Okay, maybe change the scale a bit. So it was 4028 to 4228. That's holding on 2 seconds. That's correct. Now we want to wait 3 seconds. Okay, I'm just going to type it here. 3 seconds will be 45. Mark it here. We're going to hold for 2 seconds, so it'll be 47. Add a keyframe. Okay, so 3 seconds to 45, 45 hold 2 seconds, 47. 47 we're going to pan for 3 seconds, so this will be 50. Add a keyframe here, and our next keyframe will be 52. Here. Right, so this will be the holding, pan, hold, pan. So hold at center, pan to left, hold at left, pan back to center, and hold at center. Right, moving back to the clips here, the keyframe. The first part is the center part. Center is already correct. We will hold at center, then we will pan to left. Now we will set the left point. Left point, we'll just change it to... Okay, it's not very interesting, but let's just do this for now, up to here. 37. Let's keep this 37 here. Now we have a center, left, and now we will move back to center. And we should do a right. Let's just move it back to this keyframe. We will pan for 3 seconds. So this will be 55. Set the keyframe. And this will hold for 2 seconds. 57. Set the keyframe. Okay. This is the center, hold for 2 seconds. Then we will pan from center to right. Let's set the right point. The right point is here. Minus 33. We do the same for this keyframe. Minus 33. Right, and here is the panning. We pan from center to left. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then pan from center to right, left to center in 3 seconds. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then pan from center to right. Hold for 2 seconds. Right, looks good. It's just that the scenery is not quite good. Let's shift it to something more interesting, maybe to the center. If we go back to the, if we look at the center of the clip, okay, let's see. Which parts are more interesting? Maybe more of the scenery parts. Is that all it is? Yeah, these are more interesting. So we can use this part of the clip. Where does it begin? It begins here. Good. Therefore, we shift all our keyframes into this point. Okay, and let's see what happens. As we go, let's change the time scale. Okay, we pan from left to, center to left, hold it, left pans to center, hold it, then center points to right. Yep, this is good. This looks interesting. Except that there's a bit too much train on the top. Let's do a zoom in again to get rid of the top parts, which are quite ugly. Right. Again, we will be using our motion and our motion effect. Click under motion. Here's our first keyframe from pan. We will set the motion here. Actually, maybe we don't need to set keyframes. We'll just keep it because it looks quite consistent. So we can just go ahead and just set the scale so that we see less of the train roof, and we move the video down. Yeah, we won't need keyframes for this because we're going to keep this consistently across the whole video. And right about here so that we don't see the edge at the bottom. Okay, we have 140, so we haven't reached 200 yet, so we can go maybe a bit more, although it will look blurry. Let's say 159, okay. And we move it up a bit so that we don't see the, okay, but you see the black border at the bottom? That's not good, so let's move it back here. Right, so more scenery now. Let's come here. We go from center, pan to left, hold, pan to center, and pan to right. Yep, good. Okay, probably won't want to show too much of scenery because it's quite boring. But what if we move this to the right side? Let's see. Is there something interesting on the right? Okay, this part is not so interesting, so yeah, let's just keep this for now. Okay, that will do. Right, and we are done with the panning for our second clip. Let's trim this a bit. So our keyframes are actually here. Which means that we don't actually need so much of this stuff in front. Let's just trim it. So this goes to here. Let's triple delete. Okay, what happened to our keyframes? Okay, interesting. Our keyframes. Okay, that's still here. And our keyframes end here. So let's just trim off everything behind it. There. We have now two clips. We have one clip that will transition, that will pan from right to center to left. Then we have a second clip that will pan from center to left, back to center, then right. Yeah, and this is the perfect place for us to do a match cut because we are now moving the same direction, right? The first clip ends at center to left. The second clip moves from center to left also. And this is where we'll do the match cut. And let's do the match cut between the two clips. We zoom in a bit more. Now, to do this match cut, we're going to take up two tracks. We're going to use up the video 2 track and the audio 2 track. To do that, we need to shift the clip up here. Let's expand it a bit. And now we're going to overlay the two clips so that they align. And then after that, we're going to do a cross dissolve between the two clips. So let's start here. Where do we apply it? Let's look at the second clip here. Where does it begin? It begins here. Okay. Let's trim the clip so that it starts there exactly. Now, going back to the first clip, where does it end? Where does it start moving from center to right? Well, the center to right happens, center to left, sorry, happens here. Center to left. Therefore, this is where we'll place the match cut. Let's just shift this until it matches here. Right? So this is the part where it transitions from center to left. Second clip also transitions from second and left. So that's why transitions from center to left, and that's why this is the best place to match to. Now, we want to apply a transition of 2 seconds as we move from center to left. So there's a transition of 2 seconds. Let's do a cross dissolve. We will simply use this icon here and drag for 2 seconds. Like this. Let's just zoom in a bit further. We see that it's selected a cross dissolve transition for us. Right? It's happening in 2 seconds. We need to do the same thing for the other side. So this is the first clip. We can chop it off at 2 seconds. Let's just trim it here. And over here, we can dissolve 2 seconds. Right here. So this will tell us that it's moving from this clip, doing a cross dissolve gradually to the second clip. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite show up here, but yeah, it's a problem with Premiere. The previews are not quite updated. Yeah, we can see it slowly appearing. Okay, good. So as you step through frame by frame, so notice I'm using high quality playback on a preview. Maybe that's why it's working now. If we do a frame by frame step, we can see the match cut. We can see that the first clip, okay, let's move back a bit. The first clip is doing a transition from, doing a pan from center to left. And then as we fade into the second clip, we are also doing a pan from center to left, which is why this transition works, because both clips are panning at the same direction at the same rate. Okay, does this work if you play back the whole clip? Okay, no, it doesn't. Yeah, so it's a bit hard to see right now, but hopefully you can understand what's going on. Okay, maybe what I can do is that I can do a export to media encoder, and we can see a better preview. If we go off to media encoder now, this is our. So remember, before we export, always check the VR settings. Make sure that VR is disabled. Even though it says disabled, just click it twice to disable it. Then as we go in here, we can see the clip. So we can see now that, okay, so it's showing the cue. We're panning from right to center. Then later on, as we pan from center to right, we can see that it's doing the transition. Yeah, this kind of works, except that let's see, the scale is quite tough. Can I do? I can't do this. Can I? No, I can't. Right, but you get the idea. We can see that the transition is kind of working. We are now moving from the queue to exterior of the train, and there is a match cut here that goes from train into the scenery. Yep, and this match cut works because they are all flowing in the same direction. And that's how we do a match cut in Premiere. We have seen that we have done a transition where the first clip will do a pan from right to center to left, with the delays and the duration in between. And for the second clip, we are doing something similar. We are panning from center to left, then center to right. But we do a transition in between here. For the first clip, it's between center to left. For the second clip, same thing. We start at center to left and we do the transition here for 2 seconds. And that's how we do a match cut and how we do framing such that this 360-degree video looks nice in vertical format, but yet it transitions smoothly between the two clips. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the rest of the video. I won't show you all the details, but you can see the Premiere file in the video description for the Sentosa Run video. You'll be able to see the Premiere project file. In the next part of the video, I will show you the completed match cuts for all the videos, fitting to 30 seconds, and I'll explain how I fit the music into the 30-second video. Please watch the next part of the video, which I'll link in the description below. Thank you.